He turns to you, Alana, and he says, Miss, there is no best way to say this, but you really do not understand my history, my experience with her, and that is not a fault of your own. So let me explain it to you. At the point I had known her and I had met her, she was not a murderer. She was not somebody who would even hurt a fly. She was a genuinely caring person who wanted nothing but the best for me, as did I her. And I still do. I still want the best for her after all of this. But it's it's obvious that Dennis is a sort of man who is having a very hard time talking about his own
Yeah,
feelings
yeah.
and just general things.
He's a big man's
But
man.
after taking a personal chance to like just think, and he says, "It's not an excuse." Well, I suppose if you view it from a certain way, it is actually. And you are right. This is something that is the fault of my own. But from the same angle of that, how was I supposed to know when I was young and dumb and had nothing to my name besides a wish to love and be loved in a romantic relationship? Was I supposed to know that she would evolve into a mass murderer that would burn down buildings and shoot the people that were actively surrendering to her? Or innocents who just wanted to go about their lives? Not once in my life, have I ever thought that she wasn't worth it. The same goes for you, Vincent. But these are just words. There is no way for you to believe me. Even if I know what I'm speaking right now is the truth, there is nothing I have ever done for either of you in either of your lives. You're not really a part of this, though, but I'm more so meaning Vincent.
Yeah.
There's nothing I have ever done for you in your life, Vincent, for you to genuinely believe me. You have always been worth it to me, as has she.
I
I
want to.
really, I,
I want
sorry,
to.
go ahead.
I want to believe you. I really do. But we have the. I talk to people all around the world just, just, just by waving my flute. I could talk to them anytime I want. But you never did.
Do you want to know why I never did?
Yeah,
I
I
never
do.
told you why.
Why?
It is because the people there at Glowing Mills, they are a nice people. My father was a genuinely loving father. I denounce every single ounce of what they have taught me. And I will only ever use what they have taught me in specific scenarios in which case my life is on the line or the lives of those close to me are on the line. I really, really cannot go into why, and I wish I could. But that's not the point. And it also doesn't help that that was not something that was taught to me. Vincent, as I'm sure you know, Glowing Mills is a people, or a culture, that passed down what they learn in order for their strength to continue growing. This was never something that was taught to me, nor was it something I could ever figure out to do. I am not a talented person in the aspect of music, nor am I a talented person in the aspect of creativity as a whole, when it comes to making things with my hands, or writing, or poetry, or anything of that sort. Believe me, I have tried. I have spent years of my life on that island trying to do everything with these expectations placed on me that I could never meet, and I was punished for it in ways I could not tell you. And I can't, I can't do it. I can't use what they've taught me, what I associate with the worst parts of my life. It's not something I could bring myself to do. And I know you can't understand that. My father, Dante, was more of a father to you than I ever could have been. And he was a good parent to me, too. Anything that I associate with Glowing Mills that is bad, I do not associate with him. I love him with all my heart. And he talks with me. He does what you've sent, and I talk with him. But there's just not a single thing so far that has ever made me want to go back to that, go back to those teachings, to ever do that. And I wish I could have spoken with you. I wish there was some way I could have done both what I needed to do and still be a part of your life. But I couldn't have.
He's just quiet. And now say answer the what he comes on the boat for me.
That is a very, very optimistic idea. An idea of the best case scenario, of course, of something that very well may work, but were it to happen, you have to consider this. She is not right within the mind.
I
Do you
know.
trust the safety of your crew members with her there? Additionally, are you even considering factoring in anything that you would need to do to get her to that point? Right now, as it stands, she wants nothing more than to kill me, to make my life a living hell, to do anything of that sort. And she's done so. For the past decade, she's done so. Even when she wasn't a warlord. It just got worse when she became one. But I wish it would be as simple as that. And if you manage to do that, you're right. That would be the best case scenario. Just something to disarm her, to take her away from this life of crime, to take her away from this life of murder. Something like that would be the best scenario.
Exactly.
And you would not find that answer from me, unfortunately. All right, go ahead, Refnut. If you got anything more to say, Vincent, because it's clear that he wants to say something, but he's having a very hard time trying to.
I'm going to.
And
I'm
it
gonna.
does also kind of set you off a little bit, by the way, Vincent,
Yeah.
because here's something in your mind, ever since the day you were born and the day your father left, there was not a single thing that would ever make you think otherwise of the fact that this man is the one entirely in the wrong. He could not have done anything worse to you. What he
Yeah.
did was not right in any way. And that is true. It's not. But you always thought he was unapologetic about it. Somebody
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
didn't
No.
even
Yeah.
give a shit.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That's not the case you've seen so far. There's something off. There's something wrong.
I'm gonna.
Not in the sense of something wrong with his mind, but there's something he genuinely wants to talk about, but he just can't.
Vince doesn't like him, but he's still respectful. Okay. First reply to that, then I'm gonna do my thing.
He closes his eyes and breathes in through his nose. He opens them. You're right. There is nothing I have ever done in my life that would ever make me seem as a good person. And I know this. I know this. And you are also right in the fact that I am begging for help. There is no reason for you to help me, besides the fact that she is your mother and I am your father. But you don't care about me, in any
No,
sense of the
I
word.
care about you. I'm just upset.
You have every right to be.
Even if I don't like you, you're still my
You're...
father.
Son, here's something I want to tell you. Family only matters when family cares for you. If there is ever a family member that has wronged you and continues to wrong you and does not do anything to fix it, it does not matter if they are family. They are abusing that fact, and they are only doing so to harm you.
I don't see you abusing it though. You're saying the truth. I know you are. And lastly, Vincent is going to reach out his flute. It's like, and like reach out his flute and like, and just and do cast calm emotions. You need. I think. Let's just sit down. Tell me what happened.
What do you think was the cause of it all? What do you think was the spark that sent me down a spiral towards a terrible path?
Well, you said that you never had a knack for any of the normalcy on glowing mills. You never were able to get a grasp on it. My
That's only
idea,
a part of a
yeah,
larger problem.
that you, from what I've heard from Grandpa and Grandma, you felt like encaged. That you were stuck on this place that wouldn't let you leave. That was my idea. They just wanted to be free.
I could always trust Mom and Dad to at least understand. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, they told you I was in a cage. Did they ever tell you who put me in that cage? Who made me feel like I was trapped every single waking moment, every single breath I took? Felt like everything I would do would always lead back to her.
No.
And I'm not talking about my mother either. No. I'm talking about my grandmother. This is not something you would understand. Because as I understand, especially hearing from Dad, she has calmed down recently, right around the time you were starting to mature and she would have done to you what she did to me. She has a mentality that leads her to breaking people in, I suppose you could say, teaching people things in ways that are not exactly the best way to teach children, to make a long story short. Tell me, son, were you ever at risk of having your fingers broken when you were trying to learn a song? Were you
No.
ever at risk of having your blood forcibly drawn out of you if you ever mistakenly did a math problem?
What?
Were you ever threatened with a hot iron if you ever misspelled a word? No,
He's just
you were
silent.
never. You were never threatened with any of that. And I made damn sure that that would have been the case. If that was ever the case, I would have gone right back to that island and I would have taken you off that damn thing. As would your mother. But I knew, the moment I made the decision to get off of that hellhole, that you were in good hands. That you would lead a normal life. That you would lead a good life. Because Dante would raise you. And so would your grandmother. In the darkest times of my life, the times where it felt like there were no other options but to take the worst one, they were there. They were there to put me back on the straight and narrow, to make me feel like I was loved, to make me feel like I was wanted. So let me tell you this. There was never a point in my life where I thought leaving you was not a terrible thing. I didn't want to leave you. I didn't want to leave Maggie. I didn't want to leave any of them. But I had to.
Hey, what do I even know about great grandma? I don't even remember her name.
Oh, you don't know shit.
Oh, really?
Here's something I'm gonna
What
tell
is
you,
she?
right? Like, this is actively true in character. You have only ever seen her haphazardly. You've never, like,
Oh, really?
took time to speak with her or anything like that. Neither has she you.
Oh my.
And now that you think about it, now that he's putting things in a new context, you think back to a few specific times. Dante also actively kept you away from her.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking weird to you right now because you expected him to give you another half-assed excuse, But this is making sense. This is putting things into context, into perspective.
Oh my. I completely
there,
forgot
son.
that character existed. Yeah.
I know that no matter what I say now, no matter what I want to do now, I will ever be able to hold a good place in your life. I want you to move on. I really do. Your mother and father at one point were good people, but they aren't anymore. At this point, me and her, well, to use a very commonly colloquial term, we're two sides of the same coin. I have sinned just as much as she. And there is nothing I can do to repent, to atone. This is the closest thing I could ever do. Right now, speaking with you. So please, just... I am in no position to ask you for help, like I did earlier, but I did anyways. I am begging you. Stop this madness, please.
Vincent's gonna go and write down it's Vincent, he has paper on him. He's gonna go grab a piece of paper. He's gonna write down some numbers on it. And he's gonna put his the mushy number on the table, and then Lana, we're leaving. We're gonna go talk to Mom.
Hey, Nikolai, watch this. And so just throws a rock like up high and just
Stop
lands on the top of
doing
his head.
that! You just constantly.
He hasn't noticed yet. Don't worry about it.
Damn it! Where the hell are those rocks coming from?
Man, I love this
Nikolai
complete.
is trying to get the rock away from the crow's hands.
He eventually runs out of pebbles to throw and he gets like a little sad.